Welcome back, All the Smoke 2025.
We're here.
Presented to you by DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Ooh, they got to put that on there when you get that new money.
Jack, your shit would look good right now if you had a crown. You got your easy out right now.
Yeah, I'm just,
Can you take your hat off real quick?
Yeah, I sure can. So no Jerry curl, no products in there.
Does it look wet or is it dry?
Dry.
Coop, you never had one of those, huh? You kept your shit.
I know y'all didn't think my hair was like this, but yeah, black people can have good hair too, man.
Hey, Coop kept
Are you talking
your
about
shit.
hair or
too,
Jerry
man.
curl?
Both.
I've had hair.
Coop kept his shit. Hey, man,
And I got bounced, Christine. I got bounced.
It's been a long time coming. I don't think it gets more LA than the gentleman we have here today. 12-year pro, 8-time All-Defense, 1987 Defensive Player of the Year, 5-time NBA champ,
8-time.
2-time WNBA champ as a head coach. One of the first OGs of 3-and-D. We're going to get into that today. Congratulations to the newest member of the 2024 Hall of Fame class. Welcome to the show, man, Michael Cooper. Coop.
Thank you, Matt.
We appreciate you.
My guy.
We appreciate you.
Matt, let me say something before we get started.
Oh,
shit. There are a lot of things that you want to do in your life, but I have fucking arrived.
Yeah, you're here?
I'm here, man.
God
damn it,
Coop.
I'm here with this guy
Damn
here.
it, Coop.
So,
God damn it, Coop. And we've been trying to get you for a minute, Coop. You've been dodging us.
Yes, sir. I've always admired you, not only for the basketball you played, but the defensive side of it. Me and Matt are two guys that really loved and took pride in playing defense. And you were one of the first ones of when I first started watching basketball to take pride in it. And to be an 8-time, like that's a lot to me. But what made you take pride and what made you just want to be a defender?
well, Jack, you know what? That was my sticking point when I got to the Lakers. Obviously, growing up here in California, Pasadena, what people don't know is I was an offensive juggernaut when I went to junior college. I averaged 26 points a game at Pasadena City College. Went to New Mexico, and I think I got changed right there. My coach, Norm Ellenberger, was a defensive-minded coach. I finally get drafted by the Lakers, and Jerry West came up to me, the late, great Jerry West. He said, Coop, we got Magic, Kareem, Jamal Wilkes, Norm Nixon. Ain't enough shots for you, so you got to play some defense. And that was my stronghold, and I stuck to it, and that was how I was going to stay there.
To get on the court.
Yeah.
You know, Greg Popovich told me that when I first got to San Antonio. He's like, you see all the stars you got. If you want to get on the court, you better play defense. Larry Bird, one of the best basketball players of all time, talked about you as being one of the best defenders ever. You was. How do you feel hearing it from a guy like Larry Bird?
You know what? One of the things, and we all know this, playing against your peers, you always want to be respected.
Right.
And he was one of the best. I never tried to hurt him or anything like that. Like, you know, Detroit had the Jordan rules and Philadelphia, and I just tried to play Larry head up and just play him as honest as I could, because the great ones, you're not going to affect them with that bullshit to come. You know, pulling their shirts, talking shit to him, but you couldn't talk to Larry because he ignored you. But to hear him say that shows me that the things that I was doing on the court was the right way to do it. And again, just being respected by your peers is always nice.
Take me into preparing for being one of the best defenders ever. Take me into preparing for guarding a star like Larry Bird. Like, what do you do? Like, how do you prepare for a game? Because, like, I don't know if they had scouting reports like they did back then, because we had scouting reports.
Yeah.
Did y'all have scouting reports as well on
We
players?
had scouting reports, but
Okay.
again, it was a lot of video. You know, we used to have beta and VHS, those big things. So it was just a lot of video watching of him. Like, watched all his games back then. A lot of our games was on tape delay, so we had a chance to play. And then after the game, I would come home and watch our game and then watch his. So preparing for the great ones, though, is going to always be hard, because it's not about anybody in the NBA and in basketball in general can get a shot off.
Right.
And I think as a defensive-minded person, and Jack, you probably attest to this a little bit, all you want to do is affect their shot just
Make
a
it
little
difficult,
bit.
yeah.
Alter it, make them shoot a little bit higher. But the one thing that I've always recognized about great offensive players is there are spots on the court that they shoot the ball well from. And George Gervin told me, he said, Coop, listen, if I get to my spot, ain't shit you can do with me. So in thinking like that, my job was just to keep him off that spot. And Larry, that's what I tried to do with him. But, you know, people ask me all the time, who's the hardest player? And I always say him, because I played against Michael Jordan, George Gervin, Andrew Toney. And those guys, when they pass the ball, they have a tendency to take a break for a second. Larry never was going to take a break. Larry's going to go get an offensive rebound. He's going to go set a back pick. He was going to do something to impact that possession. So that's why he was the
And
hardest.
he's about, what, 6'8", 6'9"?
6'9".
6'9", big.
Constantly on the move. It's crazy. What's your opinion on when some of these younger players being disrespectful today, saying players in the 80s didn't have any skill?
Don't like it, but you have to respect their game. And again, talk is cheap for me. I'm just bring one to mind. And I really like this young man, Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Some of the things he has said, you know, and I asked somebody the other day, I said, do you think he could have played? I asked you guys this, do you think he could have played in our era back then, 80s, 90s, 2000s?
I think he could have.
I think I could too. So in saying that, he has to respect the game because he's looking at it from his point of view now. I always tell these guys now, Google me. And then you'll get a chance to see. But you know what? Basketball was tough when we came up, man.
Hell yeah.
Basketball was hard, physical basketball. It was, referees had, I tell people this all the time. We played, I don't know if you guys did, but I played when there was only 2 officials.
Yeah, we did too.
And so they didn't see everything. So you could lay some wood on somebody and hit them. But again, the young players that are talking this game now, it's a different game. It's a perimeter game now. When we grew up, it was about take that motherfucker to the hoop.
Yeah.
And that's how you play, inside out all the time. So I respect these young kids, but I just wish they would respect us a little bit more. Instead of opening your mouth, look at how the game has changed to where we have made it easy financially for you guys, as well as the game, the way they play the game, because the rules have changed. Now it's not so much physicality in the game, but it is slowly getting there, but we changed that.
I think you touched on something, though, because obviously right now there's talks, you know, with the ratings being down and viewership being down. You came in an era, and we piggybacked off the era you left of inside-out basketball, physicality, getting to the basket, getting to the foul line, playing in the paint. You know, Steph Curry comes along. This is a copycat league. They start a dynasty. And the whole world, from grassroots basketball to the pros, are shooting way too many threes now. What are your just thoughts on the game of basketball as a whole right now?
You know what, Matt, I looked at the game when the Vlades and some of the other players, Kukoc and those guys were coming in, and I love that because I think international basketball is a little bit more fundamental than ours. And Norm Nixon and I was talking about this, how the international players, we thought that we would change them, but they changed our game. And they have really made that big, and it made bigs obsolete now almost, you know. You got Wemby that's doing something, but he plays more like a European player. But Embiid, players like that, there's no more inside game. So for me, it's a game that has changed twice since I've been watching it. Growing up here, watching it in the 60s and 70s, how the game was very slow. Magic and Bird comes in and they make passing, they make team play, they make the passion for the game a little bit more lively. So viewership shot off the roof. And now through the 80s, 90s, and 2000, it's going back to that again. So viewership is down because the way people are playing the game. And I think the way we played, a little bit more creativity, more athletically, although you got some athletes that can play now, these guys here are stuck on three-point shooting. And that to me is just killing the game. But it's about the dunk now. It ain't about the mid-range game. It's not about that layup. It's not about scoring easily. It's about making it really look creative. And, you know, the N1 videos and the PlayStation games that they have.
The highlights.
That has changed the game. That has helped change the game in a negative way, but also in a positive way, too.
Growing the game.
Question I want to ask you, growing up in L.A., how does it feel to be on one of the best Laker teams ever, and also being one of the best Lakers ever, growing up in LA? Like that's like me saying I'm growing up in Houston and I'm retired as one of the best Rockets ever. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, isn't that a great feeling to say you from here and you one of the best Lakers ever?
Jack, absolute feeling. You know what? Growing up and coming up, and actually the day that I got drafted in 1979, I was at the park because I didn't think that I was going to get drafted by the Lakers. There's been some great players, just to throw one out there, Reggie Theus, great player, Morningside. Reggie went to Chicago, so I'm thinking all of us are going back east. So when they told me that the Lakers had drafted me, my job then was to kind of like be one of those players, which I eventually became, to just play for one team and play for your home team. And very proud of that, very, very proud of that. But it's a dream to come true. You know, as young people, we grow up and we think about certain things in life, whether you want to be an astronaut, president. I thought about being a basketball player, but the way my career has unfolded is still I pinch myself every day. And
Only
I
a
thank
handful
God
can
for
say
it,
that,
man.
yeah.
It is absolutely amazing to do the things that I was able to do here at home.
You almost didn't get a chance to play basketball. You cut your knee when you was young. The doctor said he never thought you'd be able to walk again.
Never walked. You know, my grandmother, how we used to, in the 60s and 70s, they cooked that chicken grease and bacon grease and stuff, and they put it in that Folger can that they cut off the top,
Yeah.
and they put it by the back door so to cool, and if they wanted, they go get a spoon and dip out of it. Well,
Yeah.
this was some hot grease, and hadn't melted, hadn't frozen up yet, so some dogs had knocked it over. We had a dog, so I walked outside and slipped on that and fell right in the middle. Me being a skinny person, my knee was caught right in there, and it cut it all the way to the bone, 102 stitches. But you know
How
what?
old were
My
you?
grandmother was
How
a
old?
very,
Not to cut you off, how old were you?
about 5.
Oh, baby.
And I was skinny, so I'm like the end of this thing here. So it was an easy cut. But my grandmother was a woman of faith, prayed a lot, and went to church. And I tell people this: from the age I was born until I went to college, I went to church 3 times a week my whole life. So she sat up with me that whole night and prayed. And that not only was I able to walk, but some people say I was able to fly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Talk that shit.
Definitely that. Went to Pasadena High School, Pasadena Community College. Talk about the JUCO to NBA route back then.
A lot of people look at D2, small college, junior college as a bad way to take. I think for me it was a good route because I didn't have the credentials coming out of high school to go on. And nowadays, AAU basketball is killing the game. I mean, these kids here, because all of them think you got kids being held back. So for junior college, that was a good route for me. It helped me academically because I was a bad student. I went to school to be an athlete student. I didn't go to be a student athlete, and I became academically ineligible at junior college. And that set the path for me to get my grades right. So my sophomore year, I turned things around, and that's when I became a better athlete on the floor because I was taking care of business off the floor. And that led me on. But junior college is a good route sometimes. You get good players there. There's many of them. And it can be a slow route for you because sometimes when you go straight D1, you're being pushed that you don't get a chance to really enjoy the college life. But I got a chance to do that.
I went for 2 weeks. You got guys like Tiny Archibald, Jimmy Butler, Steve Francis, Larry Johnson, Bob McAdoo, Dennis Rodman, all those guys.
Spreewell,
Yeah,
J.R. Ryder.
They all
Yeah.
attend. When did the OG high socks come in? Did you start wearing them at a young age, or when you got to the league, that's when you start wearing them socks to your thighs?
Well, you know what, Jack? Really, first of all, it was a way to make my legs look bigger. Because back then, it was about the calves looking big. But I didn't have big calves. But how that unfolded was in 1974. We were playing a team called El Rancho. And it was the first time they had brought back
El Rancho?
El Rancho. And it was the first time they were bringing back high school game of the week because it had disappeared in 1970. So 74, they was bringing it back. And my grandmother at that time had glaucoma, wasn't doing well. And my team was all black. And so they were coming back. She had a little small black and white TV. And she said, baby, you got to do something so I can distinguish you from the other ones.
Yeah.
So what I did is I wore 2 white sweatbands. I wore my socks up high, and I pulled my strings out. And I was able
she
to
could see you.
Yeah, and I had 24
dope.
points, 15 rebounds, and 4 dunks that game.
Okay.
And I said, you know what, I'm rolling with
Stick
this
with
forever.
it. Don't stick with it.
I love it.
So-
That's a dope story.
Shout out to StockX, man. Got a new partnership with our family over here at All the Smoke, man. I got some nice things. How blessed are we to have a partnership with StockX? All the dope stuff coming from there. So I just want to give y'all a little taste of what I've been blessed with so far. And y'all can do the same thing. Y'all can go on StockX and get fresh like me. Start off with the L5 Greedos, Jordans. I'm a big Jordan guy. L5 Greedos, at StockX, when it's authentic, it comes with the tag, StockX tag. So rare, you can't find them anywhere. 5 Greedo, I'm a big 5 guy. I had to come with the Jordan Retro 9s, Carolinas. I'm still stuck in the 90s, so I had to get these. I'm an old school guy. Sound like everything old school, but these is a must-have, man. Dun 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 dun, dun dun dun, dun 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 dun. Oh yeah! Shout out to StockX for these. And these are another pair that I've been longing for. I'm sponsored by Jordan, and it was hard for me to find them. And I never got these, but of course StockX everything official. Y'all go on and get fresh. Everything you need is there. Big thanks to StockX for making this possible. Remember, when you need those exclusive drops, of course, you look for this stamp, StockX got you covered. Peace. This episode is brought to you by Captain Morgan, America's #1 spiced rum. This is the season where underdogs rise, brackets break, and every shot can turn players into legends. Some stories are written on the court with buzzer beaters and game-winning plays. But other stories are made off the court, when you and your crew follow the captain within and turn every party into legendary moments. So grab your crew, grab a captain and cola, and make it a story worth telling, because legends start when you follow the captain. Visit followthecaptain.com for more. Please drink responsibly. Captain Morgan Original Spiced Rum, 35% alcohol by volume. Captain Morgan Rum Company, New York, New York.
Drafted in '79, same year that Jerry Buss buys the team. You arrive 1 year prior to Magic, your rookie year. Jerry West was the coach. Kareem was the big dog. What does that seem to you? As Jackson stated, we talked about your whole career, but going back to the very beginning, Pasadena College, you say you make a pit stop in New Mexico, but now you're a Los Angeles Laker. But this is before the Lakers are everything. You helped make them everything. But what was it like when you first, stepped in and got a chance to see the form and meet Cap and Jerry and all these guys?
That you guys know this when you get to a team and you're coming in from college to the pros. And the first thing I did, we used to practice over at Loyola Marymount. Mm-hmm. And I remember going into training camp. I was kind of nervous, really didn't know what to expect. And I walked into the gym, and at the other end was Kareem shooting sky hooks. And I looked at him and I said, damn, that's, for me it was Lou Alcindor because I knew him before then, but Kareem. So I go in there and he looks at me, he go, hey man, what the fuck you looking at? I said, I'm sorry, I'm just trying. He said, fucking locker room's over there. Go in there and get your shit ready. This is Kareem talking to me.
First time you guys in every conversation?
First time I ever met him. He's down there shooting.
That's fire.
So I go in there, change, and then one thing led to another, but the fold became very, very passionate because with Dr. Buss buying the team, his whole goal was for Los Angeles to be loved by everybody. And the one thing Dr. Buss always said is, we want you to entertain the entertainers. And that was our role. So they bring in Magic Johnson. And this guy here, man, I had never been around a player that enjoyed and loved the game so much. I mean, this dude came every day, and back then we used to have them big old boom boxes that you have that you carry around. There you go, one back there, but Magic's were bigger than that one. And he was always playing Frankie Beverly and Mays or Luther Vandross or something like that. And he used to come in and just very infectious. And when we got with the Lakers, they had a lot of old super OGs, Ron Boone, Lou Hudson, Kenny Carr, Kenny Thompson. They had a lot of older veterans that were on their way out. So we had to fight. And them dudes had that old man strength. When you're playing them dudes in the gym, they hold you by the arm. You can't get away from them. But they taught us how to play the game, a very rugged game. But once they got out of the set and it became Magic's team, things became magical. And it was about enjoyment, entertain, pass the ball. If you held on to it too long, you would hear people saying, move the ball, move the ball. And that was something that wasn't familiar with the 70s growing up because the Celtics was winning everything, the Lakers, and everybody was just dribble, dribble, dribble. And Magic changed that, and he changed it for us, and Dr. Buss took it and brought in the Laker girls, and the world just changed real quick.
Did you get a chance to see?
I think you might have been able to play with it. I know Matt for sure, but I think you might have been because you that motherfucker that had a little nasty in him too. And that was the one thing that we loved.
I might have missed a couple of games. I probably been stuck in that little
Forum club.
The Forum Club. Yeah, I probably been sleeping there.
Well, hey, listen, then you'd have got traded. Because Magic said
I would have got traded.
You go up there, but you better be on the bus the next day. So
that was Magic's rule.
Was good. Huh?
That was Magic's rule or Jerry's rule?
That was everybody's rule. But
Just
Magic said, "Hey, listen, you can have fun, but our shit is business, man. Come play." And when we got into certain cities, we go out on the road, and Magic would tell everybody, "Listen, if we play the next day, you got 1 o'clock curfew." What's this dude setting a curfew for me? All right, fuck around, and you come back and see Magic was a big part of the team. You may not play. So we all kind of learned that, and we just fell in line because that is the things that breed championships.
You remember your first experience at the Forum Club?
I was married.
Oh, you was married,
Jack,
so
yeah.
you didn't function
I
with
walked through there with my wife.
it. Yeah.
So, but
yeah,
I would look.
Yeah. Okay.
Listen, my blinders were like this. They weren't like that. They were more like.
Are you still married to the same woman?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
We were married for 23 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
So.
But talk to, I mean, obviously, all jokes aside, and we can kind of grin about it now. I mean, that team was known for getting it in, definitely on the court, but enjoying themselves off the court. And you being a married man,
We
at the time,
were known for that too.
Yes,
we
we
were
weren't
definitely
married
known
though.
for that. No, we weren't married. But
We were cracking.
Yeah, we was cracking.
What was it like? What was it? Talk to us, because I mean, that was a game within the game. I mean, the Forum Club is legendary. People tell stories about that. What was that Forum Club like?
You know what? The Forum Club was a different place. It was almost like Studio 54
Back in New York?
In New York at the time, and Dr. Buss wanted that. He paraded women that came to the game around, and then he would take his entourage and go sit up by the flag. But that was part of L.A. And the only ones that really partook of that a lot. Myself was married. Byron Scott was married. Norm Nixon and Magic Johnson were the only single guys. So we kind of lived vicariously through them.
So they were okay.
And
They
when
were
they
okay
did
with
their
that.
thing up at the Playboy Mansion or wherever they were at, and they come back, we would all be sitting on the bus the next day. You know, what happened? What happened? So we're hearing. But then as we go through that later on, in the 80s, you know, people started partaking a little bit more.
Yeah.
We just kept it under wraps. But our main goal was to win championships
basketball,
and play
yeah.
basketball.
And y'all
But
did
yeah,
that
the
at a
nightlife
high
in Los
level.
Angeles, you guys know this.
Anybody in awe you saw either at the Forum Club or at the games? Because he said Mr. Buss's goal was obviously to win, but also entertain. So the stars of stars were sitting there watching you guys every night or partying right next to you guys.
Well, Diane Cannon, she was a heartthrob in the 70s, 80s. And when she kind of like took us under her and became, along with Jack Nicholson, our super fans, it was kind of impressive to see her. But Paula Abdul, before she became Paula Abdul, was a Laker girl.
Yeah.
I mean, there was many that came through there. But again, like I said, I lived a lot of my life through Norm and Magic's eyes.
Vicariously.
And listening to those guys.
So you saw some good shit through their eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Jack done seen a lot of basketball. Jack Nichols.
Yeah.
He done seen a lot of
For real.
Lakers, some good basketball.
Jack was so down to earth because we used to go to On the Rocks, which is above the Roxy in Hollywood, and Jack would be in there, and we used to party with him, you know, drink and you know, it was a really intimate setting, nightclub, so we'd all be up in there and just to hear some of the stories. But again, you watch this One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. You watch him in many other movies that he had, and I couldn't believe that this guy was standing next to me, but so knowledgeable of a fan, knew the game inside and out. And my one great memory of Jack is that in 1984, we were going and, you know, obviously not being able to beat the Celtics, and we go there and the Celtics would beat them, and Jack said, you know what, fuck y'all, and mooned them. Sit up top, pulled his pants down, and mooned the fans on our way out. And for us, that was our sign that, you know what, the Celtics would never beat us again. And then we came back in 85 and beat them. So
I love it.
Jack was our unspoken leader.
Was how factual was winning time? Any factual to it, or was it just pure entertainment?
Pure entertainment.
Okay.
I would say that Jerry West, Dr. Buss were never like that. Pat Riley never smoked. No, it wasn't factual at all. But one thing I'll give them, the people they got to depict some of us, they
good.
hit
They did a good
that
job,
on the point,
yeah.
man.
So when
They
you
did a really
see
good
that,
job.
I mean, again, they're telling your story, and I heard Magic come out and say something. Some other guys like, was there any part of you that could enjoy? Because I enjoyed it. Because I was born in 1980, and you guys were my favorite team. So just kind of imagining what it could be like. Although you say it wasn't like that. Any part of you enjoy it, or you're just like, oh, this is too
I never
fake?
watched it.
Oh,
I
really?
haven't watched it. The one thing I heard about me is
You
they
got
said
hair?
that I broke down. I broke down on the highway, my wife, and I'm walking up and down and I'm cursing and everything, and my wife is under the car trying to fix the car. The breakdown happened, but I'm a man's man. If something gonna happen to my car, but no, that wasn't real at all.
Okay.
I didn't pay any attention to it. But I heard a lot of my friends watched it, and a lot of people always said, well, this go down, that go down. I'd say 90% of it was fake, but people enjoyed it.
I don't know, like I said, we don't know if it's true or not, but the guy who played Norm Nixon killed it. It's the same guy who played in Snowfall. He played the crazy dude on Snowfall, but he killed it. He played Norm real well.
The dude played Magic was good too.
Yeah,
the
he
dude
did
that played
too,
Larry
yeah.
Bird was good.
Yeah, he was good too.
I enjoyed it. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't know what was true or not. But again, growing up, you know, being a Showtime fan, I thought it was dope. Your relationship with the late great Jerry West.
Like a father-son. And Jerry was one of the players that picked a couple of us, and we're affectionately known undertoned Jerry's kids. And it's myself, Byron Scott, A.C. Green, James Worthy, Michael Thompson. I mean, he appreciated Magic, part of that. But Jerry was an interesting individual, man. And the thing that hurt me about Winning Times is how they depicted him, because that was not Jerry West at all. Jerry very rarely cursed. He was a man into his family. He didn't have any ranting and raving around the office or anything like that. And I had an opportunity in '91 when I retired to actually sit, my office was next to his. And this title that everybody has now, Special Assistant to the General Manager, that title was made for me by Jerry West to give me an opportunity to learn the business goings and learning how to scout and recruit players. But Jerry, man, was a very forceful individual. He understood the game of basketball to the T. He taught me how to scout and recruit. And it was just such a shame how they did that to him, because that wasn't Jerry. But you know what? The people that really know Jerry, it hurts a little bit, but we knew who he was, and that wasn't him. But my relationship goes very deep. After I retired, I had alcohol and substance abuse. And Jerry was the first one to pull me to the side. He was like, "Coop, what's going on?" And he understood it, so I went and spent 45 days at John Lucas's down in Houston, his rehab place there, and probably one of the best things to turn my life around. Wow. And sometimes we can get led astray on different things, and Jerry West was able to see that, and he caught it early before my issues became even bigger that I couldn't handle. So I go down there, I take care of that, came back, I still had a job, he was still rooting for me, and until the day he died, I spoke to him a week before he passed away. Jerry and I was very, very close. So
rest in peace,
he's going to be missed, but again, we try to live our life to implement and to imitate who he was, and I think a lot of us do that.
I don't really care about what a lot of people think, but I hold what Jerry told me about my game dear to heart. Just hearing him say that. We was in Golden State at the time. We had to go back.
Yep.
And either we spoke, we went to halftime, they brought us back for something. I think you still on the team probably.
Playing.
Yeah, and walking out the arena, I was just like, "How you doing, Mr. West?" He was like, "Steven Jackson. Yeah, I remember you doing this." And start talking about my game, and like that shocked me to hear Jerry West, actually know like personal things of my game. So that meant everything to me, knowing who he was and what he meant to basketball.
Jerry loved basketball, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, he loved all players that played. And especially with the Lakers, if we would go up to him at one, "Jerry, what do you think? And he could tell you different things that went on in the course of your game. Hey, at the 3:57 mark in the second quarter, Coop, why didn't you take that shot? So
They talk about Bird being black. I think Jerry was the first one that was black, because Jerry, he was a brother. He was a brother, bro. He was a brother.
Pat Riley comes in and takes over. What was that transition like for you and the team?
Well, with him being as an assistant coach, we kind of knew what we were going to get. And one thing I always say about Coach Riley is that attention to detail. I had never heard a coach say that much about anything. And Pat was always talking about that. Cross the T's, dot the I's, attention to detail. And he was the first one to set me on the path of wanting to be a coach, the way he handled us. But Pat was cool. He understood when he took the reins over the team that don't fuck it up. Get out the way. But as we went on, he started kind of developing and putting his fingerprints or handprints more on the team. But when he took over, man, we knew we were going to win. He had the look. Pat taught a lot of us how to dress. I didn't know they had a little thing now called the Riley spread. There's a shirt you can buy that. But Pat was really, really nice, man, and just influential in all of our games on and off the court.
Tough training camps?
Very tough, man. We would go. Pat wasn't big into going 2.5, 3 hours. But if we went 2 hours, and he'd let you know, "Hey, you guys, we're in here for 2 hours, so you either give it to me or I can string it out." And we messed around, and he strung it out one time. So when he would come in every day, "Hey, we're going to be here for hour 40. Give me what you got." And once we understood that, we started practicing real hard. But he was pushing us. He pushed us to be the first team in 16 years at that time to repeat in '87, '88. And then he kind of like broke us in '89 because he pushed us too hard, and we were going back to play the Pistons, and we, have our first practice back there. He gets there and wants to have a 2.5-hour practice, and that's when Byron got hurt. Magic was hurting
In the finals.
in the finals. I tell you, we'd have whooped the Pistons' ass in '89. We'd have been with a three-peat now. And Isaiah, he gave us hell. But if we, and then we throw the ball goes up, and then Magic pulls his ham the first 2 minutes of the game. So we just weren't that team, and they went on to win. But up until that point, and before we had that practice, we were going to beat the Detroit Pistons. It was all because of the way Pat Riley handled us.
Question, because obviously what made him great is what has kind of had people looking at him a certain way now. He's built something with you guys. He built something in Miami, and now we're seeing the fallout with Jimmy Butler not wanting to play there and Pat kind of standing on his principles and morals. We were talking about this on our other show earlier. Will Pat be that way till he dies, or do you think Pat has it in him to kind of conform to what this newer era of basketball and how players are?
Well, I think he's conformed, but if you look at his role as behind the scene, Spoelstra pretty much is out front and handles the day-to-day things on the court. And I think he still has a little Pat Riley in him, but he understands the communication and how to handle today's players. But again, Pat is about that Heat culture. And that's never going to change because he developed the culture when we were winning in
absolutely.
LA. He went to New York and developed something really nice there and then on to Miami. So Pat's never going to change because he knows what it takes to win basketball. And I think it's not a do it my way or the highway with him, but do it this way because this way wins. And
Or you'll hit the highway.
There. So, that's unfortunate that Jimmy Butler, but one man's trash is another man's treasure. And I'm trying to
Get him out here?
Poke the Lakers. Come on, man, do something. Because they give it a fire sale over there, man.
Come on now.
Fire sale over there.
No, you get Jimmy Butler and put him with AD and LeBron.
Yeah, you got
some
something.
magic there,
You got
man.
something.
And you know
Got
what?
something.
Everybody knows the issue. So Coach Riley or whoever is calling the show, well, he's behind some of the shot. You're not going to get what you want. So the best thing you can do, I think, at that point in time would be to take the best deal you can get. And I think the Lakers can come up with something.
They got nice
to
pieces
help
and
him
some
out,
picks.
so.
Yep.
How did Coop-A-Loop come about?
That came about from Magic, because when Magic was at Michigan State, he had a young man named Greg Kelser playing with him. And when they beat Indiana State, that's what he was throwing the lob to him. So when he came to the team, and I wasn't doing much scoring because my whole focus was about defense, was to play, he said, "Cool, we got to find a way to get you to score, man." Because I wouldn't shoot the ball. I'd just get it inside. And that's how it developed. So he said, "Listen, Coop, we on the break, man. My boy K, I used to throw it to him. So when you see me do this or make a move like that, you just go to the hoop." And a lot of people never thought Magic could get you the ball, but he could get you the basketball. And example, we had this guy named Joe Cooper, big guy, I forget where he went, but Joe Cooper was 7'1". And Magic at training camp would tell all the new people, "Listen, if you cut through the key, get your head up and your hands up, because I'll get you the basketball." And I remember he told Joe Cooper that, and he told him one time we were in practice and stuff. Joe went through there. Magic said, "Joe, get your hands up, man. I see you." Next time he went through there and he turned and he looked back at Magic, ball hit him right in the face.
Blew his shit up.
And busted his nose and blood was everywhere. Well, they wiped him up. The next day the guy got traded.
And a burn.
So Magic, when he tell you something, man, I just used to go. And that's how that developed. He threw it in. Chick Hearn is the one that coined it, the Coop-A-Loop. Before it was just the alley-oop. And then obviously my name being Coop, he added that. So he's another one I miss, Chick Hearn. He was big in our growth as a team and as the NBA got better.
Talk to us about Magic as just, obviously we saw what you guys put on the court as team and team and championships, but what kind of leader was Magic?
Magic was always a special person. You could tell that God had something for him and to be out there and lead. And obviously we see the end result now, but in the beginning we could see it because he understood the game, he understood people, and he understood his value to the game of basketball. And whenever I talk about Magic, you have to talk about Larry Bird when you talk about the growth of basketball in the 80s. But Magic has done some things spectacular beyond that, man. Obviously, he's getting a presidential award for
just got it, right?
Getting. Yeah. So
The Presidential Medal of Freedom?
I don't know if something, honor or...
yeah, it's an honor. Him and Messi is getting
something like that, yeah.
And I mean, those are the type of things that he was always headed for. And you know what? When he came out and said he was HIV positive, people looked down on him. And obviously AIDS and HIV awareness was not as aware as it is today. Magic brought that to the forefront. And you know what? I was in the front office when he announced that he was HIV positive, and he pulled me in. It was me, Jerry West, Dr. Buss, Bill Sharman, a couple of people, and he pulls me in and he goes, Coop, listen, I got HIV. And I started crying because at that time, all we knew is if you had HIV, the virus, you were going to get full-blown AIDS. And I remember crying, and I said, he goes, man, stop crying, man. I said, well, Eve, how long they giving you? He said, man, I'm going to beat this. And he said it with such a straight face and a belief in his heart that you knew. So when we went out and he actually did the press conference, I mean, it was amazing to see this young man stand up there and for him to try to come back. A lot of people, Karl Malone was one of the ones, I'm not playing against him because this and that, blew that out of proportion.
Yeah, you don't
but
get to talk
again,
about
he
him.
still kept his steadiness. And as you see, Magic is Magic. And he's the man he is today was the man you saw when he first came into the league. He just grew into that guy. So you could see there was greatness all about him, not just on the court, but off the court. He's a man of God, loves his family, loves his friends, and he takes advantage of all the opportunities that have been given him.
Absolutely. What up? This is Matt Barnes, one half of All the Smoke, and I'm really excited to announce our new partnership with StockX for 2025. You already know how particular I am with my shoes. That's why I rock with StockX. They have access to all the early releases.
Doesn't matter if you're hunting those rare Jordan 1s or trying to find the latest drops. StockX is your bridge to sneaker and streetwear culture.
Plus, their market data lets you know exactly what everything is worth. You know I've been collecting all the Travis Scott Jordans, but now with StockX, there's price transparency. No more guessing what's fair. You see exactly what things are selling for.
Hit StockX.com right now and level up your collection. StockX, now you know.
Hoop fans, the NBA trades have been crazy. Get in on all the actions with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook with Pick 6. Pick 6 is a fresh and exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. All new customers who play just $5 will get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now, sign up using the code SMOKE to claim your offer. Getting started is simple. Pick just 2 players and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. Lock them in and compete against each other for a shot at huge cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now. Sign up using the code SMOKE, only at DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. This episode is brought to you by Boost Mobile.
Boost Mobile is now a legit nationwide 5G network. I know we stay joking, but let me take a second to put on my serious voice. Because this isn't a joking matter. Me personally, I would never joke about a 5G network that has invested billions in building 5G towers across the country.
Me neither.
Not even once.
Me neither.
Feel me?
Boost Mobile is now a legit nationwide 5G network and also provides coverage across 99% of America. Seriously. Visit boostmobile.com or your nearest Boost Mobile store for more information.
The Boost Mobile network together with our roaming partners covers 99% of the U.S. population. 5G speeds not available in all areas. Moses Malone, Jamal Wilkes, Bobby Jones, Calvin Nadd, and Michael Thompson, you were a part of the iconic Nike Air Force One memory slide. Can you talk about that campaign?
Right there.
Nike Air Force One, right there. Check that out. Everybody was waiting for the flood, though.
Listen.
But this is before Nike was popular, though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the shoe that all the kids wear now.
You thought you were sweet. You thought you were sweet right there, huh, Coop?
I was. I was. I had to take advantage of that shot because I wasn't going to get my own shoe.
Yeah.
And when they came out with that, I think that was such an iconic picture. Now, the one thing I want y'all to look at that picture, see how Moses' collar, everybody else's collar is kind of tight.
Yeah.
Moses was too big to fit in his, and his split all the way down to the waist. So they actually had to get pins and pin Moses'.
Hold on. But this the key question, though. Is that a onesie or y'all tucked in?
No, it's a onesie.
It's a onesie. Okay, I peeped that.
But I was so proud to do that picture.
Yeah,
right
that's
there,
fine.
Man.
What year was
poster,
that? What year was that?
I was
82?
Yeah.
That's iconic.
That's some real fucking Warriors there, man. I'm telling you, that's it. So,
That's the original Air Force One.
Yeah, Air Force Ones, and that's the shoe that all the young people wear today.
Yeah.
You know what? And I'm going to say this because I love Nike. I'm a big Nike person. it was a fucked up shoe to wear, man. You couldn't
Yeah.
play ball in it because it was just
Hell
too
nah.
big. It was kind of clunky.
You can't hoop in them.
No, you couldn't. But the ones that they had for us were real high tops. I mean, big high tops. But but you know what? I almost started crying. I watched that because I remember we were up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Doing that?
And we had to get there at 4 because
That's
they
the
wanted that
sunrise
kind
right
of
there, huh?
background.
Ah.
And
That's
yeah,
fire, though.
Yeah, and that was a nice picture.
That's
I
a
like
timeless pick.
Hell yeah. That's dope.
I don't know why they put me over by Moses. I should have been on the other side, but that's another story.
You was around big cool.
5 championships in a 9-year window.
Crazy.
80 to 88. Played against the Celtics 3 of those times. What were those rivalries like? I mean, obviously there's documentaries, 30 for 30s, and we've seen all kind of stuff. But as a key figure in those games, in those series, going to the old Boston Garden and the 115 degrees in there, and then coming back to LA and finally getting over the hump, what were those battles and wars like?
You know what? It's that old saying, cliche, iron sharpens iron, and that's what Boston did for us. And I think Detroit did that for Chicago. You know, the way that Chicago early, a young Mike had to fight to get through them. But playing the Boston Celtics was, you know, it's going to be a battle. And the important thing about playing them is who was going to establish their game. And we were up-tempo game, but some kind of way Boston always brought it down to their level. And when they did, they were able to beat us. But once we turned that series around, and it all took Kurt Rambis getting clothesline, that let us understand that the Celtics were about whatever they could do to win. And then we had to change that. But those rivalries were something very, very special. I think the whole world, the NBA basketball world, was waiting. Yeah. That's who they wanted to see. They needed Boston to get through. They needed the Lakers to get through, and the NBA took advantage of that.
Well, I mean, you may have not have known at the time because you're in it in the moment, but you know, a lot of people say that, you know, Magic and Bird kind of helped shape and save where the NBA was headed and change the direction of where it was going. And again, obviously you were playing in those games, but did you feel it, like you said, the world needed Boston to get through and the world needed the Lakers to get through, and you have a white superstar versus a black superstar, uptown LA team versus a, you know, a blue collar, racists out there, racists all what? Out that way. But when you guys collided on the court, you know, obviously in the moment you may not have known it, but looking back, you know, would you say that Magic and Bird, obviously with their teams, but those individuals kind of helped shape the direction of the NBA?
I think so. They made it more sellable. They made it more competitive. Our team was just as tough as Boston on a different kind of way, athletic sort of way. And I think the league benefited from that for sure. And I ask you guys this: do you think it would have worked had Magic went to Boston and Larry went to LA?
No,
Jack?
no.
Why?
Because it's just the demographic and how it was. If Magic came to LA where he was working, where he could be him, he couldn't have been the Magic he was here in Boston.
Yep.
They would have forced him to be somebody else more like Bird, and that wouldn't have worked. They both went to two situations where they can be who they normally were.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And it was the best fit for both of them. I don't think nobody else besides Michael in Chicago went to a team where it fitted. And also Tim Duncan. Them 4 guys, they went to the perfect situation for them, and I think Magic and Bird set it off.
And I think I'll add something to that style of play. Your Magic style of play, he couldn't get McHale and Parrish and Walton at time, those guys, to be running up and down the court the way he got you guys to run up and down the court. So I don't think it could have worked.
And that's why I say, people ask me, I say, you know what? There is a basketball God, because they make things happen, they make things round, and they make things right. And I mean, you know what? That was right. That was right. And the NBA needed that at that time. They needed 2 young people to come in and just show what the fundamentals of basketball is about. That's why I say Magic made passing fun. He made smiling fun. He made getting ready before the game. You know, before I heard that Wilt Chamberlain and Elgin Baylor, and Wilt was a smoker, and you went into the Lakers locker room before, everybody's smoking, they're just sitting there not doing anything.
Can you imagine smoking before a fucking game?
A cigarette,
but still, still.
No,
yeah,
I couldn't. I hate cigarettes.
And drinking. I heard some of the guys would have a beer before the game. So
that's just hydration. That's
So for the Lakers, in our locker room, there was music playing. We were walking around talking about the game, who you gonna guard, this and that. We were going over the board. Magic was kind of like quizzing people, and we could, okay, for the guards, Dennis Johnson, what we got to do again? We got to stop him, keep him off the boards.
Magic was doing this.
All of us were.
Oh, okay.
Magic was kind of like, and
Leading it.
and music was playing and stuff like that. And at that time, we didn't have that hard hip hop that they have, the rap music.
Yeah.
So we were listening to Frankie Beverly, the smooth
Love.
stuff, Smokey Robinson.
Yeah. Put you in a good mood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, they just changed the game, and it was very, very beneficial
Happy
to the NBA.
feeling. Jamming that for the game?
Oh,
Yeah, you
yeah,
got to go
for
out there and
sure.
glide on the motherfucker.
1987 Defensive
slide.
Player of the Year, but there was one person that wasn't happy about that.
Your hairness.
Michael Jordan. Michael Cooper is a great on-ball denial, but check the other numbers. Check the other stats. 78 steals, 43 blocks. This league gives defensive awards on reputation, and it just teased
Wait a minute,
me off.
who wasn't happy about this?
Michael Jordan.
He said something about it?
Yeah, this is quotes.
This is
We're reading quotes. You never knew that?
No.
Really?
Coop, you was locking people up. Mike like, shit, I'm out here locking people up too. But Coop, goddamn, how many times I gonna give it to him?
You know what? If that was any other Michael, I would say something, but that's MJ. That's MJ, so I'm going to leave that alone. But you know what? Mike was a force in his own, but he's more of like stealing. Mike wasn't he was a good on-ball defender, but he wasn't
Passing
but
lanes.
Mike would play that passing lanes and doing all that.
So Mike really played D.
He played D.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
But
did.
not
You
like
gotta
you.
give him that. No, Mike wasn't a denier, and he
Yeah.
wasn't all that. But you know what? Shit, as great as he became on that offensive end, he had to conserve some energy. Yeah. You know, I wasn't a great offensive scorer, so I got to use all my energy on that defensive end. So,
Interesting.
After retiring in 1990, you served as a special assistant to Jerry West for 3 years and also as an assistant for the Lakers. How was that, being back on a different side?
well, you know what? It was good because the Lakers kept a lot of us in the fold. Yeah. So after our playing days, and that's what I truly mean. Dr. Buss was all about family.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you retired, if you didn't want to be part of the Lakers, you can go do whatever you want to. But I still wanted to understand what coaching, the behind the scenes, player contracts, that kind of stuff. And I wanted to be involved with that. So got a chance to do that. And enjoyed it because I did get the chance to really see who Dr. Buss was, see who Jerry West was. Because when they come in the locker room and they're happy after a win, you kind of know. But I got a chance to see them on the defeats when we lost and the everyday workings of what the Lakers was about. So it was enjoyable for me. I really had a wonderful time and got paid pretty good.
What was the process of recruiting Shaq and getting him to sign a 7-year, $120 million deal?
Well, that was more so Jerry West and them. They did that. That was kind of like on them big people. They kind of like, hey, Coop, we'll let you know what's going on, but they go into the big man's office and close the door. But you know what? Shaq, and that's the great ability that Jerry West had, is the ability to attract those superstars. And even Magic, you want to put him in the loop. He was the one that was able, when he was the general manager for a little bit with the Lakers, or he was a president, to go get LeBron James. LeBron came here because of Magic, so they still have that kind of flair. But it takes a certain individual to be able to talk to a superstar player. And, yeah, LA's a good selling point, but sometimes it ain't all good behind the scenes. Yeah. And they were able to sell those type of players. And the fact that Jerry had the wherewithal and the eye to see a young man, Kobe Bryant, and know that this kid could play basketball.
Yes, speaking of Kobe Bryant, I heard he waxed your ass in the pre-draft workout.
Jack, don't believe everything you hear.
To go and tell me the truth, then. What happened?
Okay,
What
I'm
happened?
telling you the truth. Listen, I was 41 years old, man.
He gonna start with that. He gonna start. I was 41 years old.
Hey, that's real, though. That's real.
But no, that was probably, other than playing, one of the hardest things I've ever done. A young Kobe, and there were some certain things that, you know, they wanted him to work off pick and rolls. They wanted him to get to the elbow. They wanted him to post up, that I had to kind of like take that away. And after that, I remember after that workout, I had never sweated that hard in my life. And once that workout was over with, Jerry goes, Coop, you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine, man. He goes, he's our kid. That's our pick. And they knew it. They knew it, and this kid here, man, Kobe could play. He could play, and that was the one thing I was very impressed with him. Two things. One, his strength. As a 19-year-old, he was strong, man. I was working him down that low post, and, you know, he was not able, I couldn't push him out of there too much, but then again, he had that athleticism where he jumped over the top. But he always, Jerry said, I need you to get to the elbow. And he started him over here. And with 4 or 5 dribbles, Kobe was able to maneuver himself and get to that shot. He didn't hit every one, but he got to a spot. And Jack, you know this as an offensive player, because Matt and I were defensive players. If you get to your spot, it's hard for people to guard you. And Kobe really showed that, and he exemplified that in that workout.
Back-to-back WNBA championships, 2001, 2002 with the Sparks with Lisa Leslie, Coach of the Year in 2000. What was that experience like transitioning over to coaching women?
Well, I had started hearing about that in '97, that the league was coming about. And when it officially became here, I always say this, women at early ages are always smarter than us. 5, 6-year-olds, they're always 10 years, if they're 5 or 6, they're thinking like a 10, 11-year-old. So to go and to work out, but before I actually coached them, I had a chance to go to a Say No Classic up at USC, a summer league.
Say No.
That's where I saw Tina Thompson, Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie play. So when the chance came that I got a chance to coach them, it was great. I say there's 2 things about women that I really enjoyed coaching. One, they look better in their uniforms, because we can sometimes look kind of scroungy, big guys like that. And 2, they smell better when you come to the huddle.
Yeah.
You come in and Shaq sweating on you, and you got like that, and the guys smelling underarm. Women always smell good, man, when you come in. But they also can play the game.
Absolutely.
Because they have to truly use all the fundamental aspects of the game, because they're below the rim. Now they are, but back then they weren't jumping up over the rim dunking. So that was the joy that I had with coaching women is, we would go over plays. And you guys know this. There's one guy on your team where you can run a play. I don't care how many times you run it. Somebody's going to always fuck it up.
You had a squad, though.
But yeah, women don't do that. You give them things. I could run 2 plays and 2 times, and after that, everybody got it. So I was able to move on to the next one. Now these guys, man, you got to cut this way. You're always kind of checking them. But women, I enjoyed it. So the one thing that they came to me, because I was trying to be cordial with them. And I remember this. I'll never forget this. Lisa Leslie came up to me in one of our practices. I was like, come on, ladies, she said, Coop, fucking coach us. Coach us. I said, coach you? She said, Coop, I want to learn. Coach us. That's the only way we're going to get better. Now, I never cursed at them, because you don't have to do that with women, but I got after them.
Yeah.
And when I realized, okay, this is how it goes, that's when we were able to turn the corner. Because you remember back in '97, Houston Comets was the one winning all the championships.
Oh, trust me, I know Cynthia Cooper, cooking.
Tina Thompson and all them.
Yeah.
So once I started coaching them and we broke through and we were able to beat that mighty Comet team, then I kind of like, okay, this is what they need. And then that's how we did. Like I said, I never was a yeller or a cursor, but they knew when I was upset, and I made my corrections harshly with them, and they benefited from that.
With all due respect, Lisa Leslie is one of the best and beautiful human beings I've ever seen in my life, bro. Every time we say the big 3, she's the same person. She's always in great moves. She even knows, like, if you're going through something through the week, she'll pull you to the side and give you some encouragement. Like, she's just one of them people. Like, she's one of those people that you always want to see, bro, because she always got a good vibe about her.
Exactly, and that's how she's always been.
Yeah.
That is how she's always been. She was always helping her teammates. When she got that job, because she had called and asked me about the big 3 job, she was like, Coop, should I take it? I said, Smooth, that would be perfect for you.
Easy money.
Because she knows how to communicate with men. But the thing is, she knows the game. And she's so statuesque, and Lisa always look good. Whenever
Fly,
you see her,
she
man,
fly, all the new shoes, like she be fly.
And I'm hating because she's got more championships than me in the big 3. I don't know that. I hate her for that. But then she was also given a good team. But we're not going to talk about that.
She had Joe. Probably the best player the big 3's ever seen. Joe Johnson.
But so it took her coming up to you and like, Coop, coach us, to kind of really get you in your groove as a coach.
Yep. And that's, she, the one thing I got to give her is that every year she had the ability to where, back in the early 2000s, women had to supplement their contract. They had to go to Europe. They had to go to Russia. They had to go over there for most of the year to make 800, 900. Well, Lisa, the things that she was doing off the course, so she stayed. And Jack and Matt, every year, she would come up before the season, goes, Coop, I want to learn how to do this. I want to learn how to do that. And then our second championship, she came and she goes, Coop, I want to know how the Elijah drill works. You know that move, Elijah would go baseline and do that and come back out on that side? I said, okay, Smooth. So I started watching some film on him, and she said, Coop, I got it. So for 4 months, from October to February, March, every day we went over. This is when the Lakers were practicing, and we would get there at 6 in the morning because they would practice at 9, and we'd go for an hour. She would go do her weight program, lift weights and stuff, and then we'd go over there and we worked on that every day. Free throw shooting, 3-point shooting, and I was amazed by that because not many guys will do that. But here she is wanting to be one of the best players in the game, man, and she worked on that, and we were playing the Charlotte Hornets in our second championship, and she got the ball, she went baseline, she went like that, and one of them players jumped way over there. She came back out. I mean, it was exactly like Elijah Wan. Came back out and hit it. When she hit that shot, I stood up. And she was pointing at me. I told you I could do it. I told you. And that there is the passion and compassion she has to the game that she now takes into her coaching.
Was Don Staley there? Was at the Sting, right?
Yeah, that was Don Staley's team.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Lisa was, man, I tell everybody this. I think Ann Myers possibly could. Nancy possibly could. But Lisa Leslie could play in the NBA if she could handle the physicality.
Oh, okay.
You know, we used to go play up at UCLA. They used to have open runs. And we would go play. And I would tell the guys the first 2 or 3 runs because Magic was renting the gym and he had his travel team up there. I said, dudes, just play her. Don't play her physical. Just play her. And they, you know, I mean, they'd still be physical, but they wouldn't have hand checker. Man, Lisa used to give it to them. Threes, pump fakes, and she wasn't afraid to go inside either. And once her team start winning, then that macho shit come back out of you, and okay, I got to put something on her. And they start banging on her, and then she's off balance, and she would miss her shots. But if she could handle the physicality, she could be the one woman that could play in this game. But the game is just very difficult for women, you know, with hand checking and all that.
Yeah. A lot of people give Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark a credit for the boom of the WNBA this past season. Do you see any similarities to their boom, to the boom that Magic and Bird brought to the NBA in the 80s?
Yeah, I do.
Similar?
I think this young lady, Caitlin Clark, you really getting to see her explode. I think she's going to be probably the first WNBA player to average like about 34, 35 a game. I think she got that kind of potential. Angel is another player that's just going to be athlete. And I think all players in the WNBA are only getting better. That's going to take that league to the next level. I'm waiting for Juju to come. The young lady at USC. Have you seen her, Jack?
Yeah. What? She's a killer.
Hell yeah, I've seen Juju.
I'm waiting for her to come into the league because she is going to be the explosion. Caitlin and them are doing a wonderful job because you got a lot of the Sue Birds and Diana Taurasi's. They're getting ready to exit now because they're the vet players now. And this new blood to come in because they understand how to play the game. And I think that's what Lisa, Tina Thompson, Cynthia Cooper did at the 2000 level. They brought that strong NBA kind of play to open the league up. But now you get ready to see some people play basketball now. And I'm excited to see Juju come.
It's a couple of young girls that's in the 8th, 9th grade that's dunking already.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. So
I got a 10-year-old that's tall, so
okay.
Yeah, she a problem already.
Massage
She
her
foul out every
hamstrings
game.
and warm goat milk.
Yeah, she foul out every game. I love it.
And see, I tell people all the time, they told me this, because Phil Jackson wasn't a big fan of the WNBA. Because I used to, in 2000, we were only, I think we might be the only WNBA team to win a championship the same time the NBA. In 2001, the Lakers won and we won. Yeah. So they brought that kind of tough basketball, but you get ready to see this league go to a whole nother level. And people used to say back then, this league will be here 5 years. It'll be here, and I used to tell Phil, hey, Phil, why don't you come to a game? No.
Phil couldn't do it.
Phil Jackson, I said, Phil, come on to a WNBA game. Sit you on the court. Coop, women can't play basketball. I said, Phil, come on. No, Coop, I can't go. So I never could change him, but I got close. But I did hear him say now that women can play the game. Yeah. So he's changing. But, yeah, you can ready to see basketball go to another stage.
Love it.
On a serious note, cancer scare. You was diagnosed with tongue cancer in 2014. How are you doing now, and did that change your perspective on how you looked at life?
Doing good now, Zach, Matt. Yes,
I'm glad to hear that.
Pardon me?
Glad to hear that because you're my guy.
Yeah. You know, I had tongue cancer, and no one in my family has ever had that. And what happened is I was traveling, and you know how when you're eating food and you bite your tongue a little bit, and it doesn't heal. And, you know, your mouth is one of the fastest healing parts of your body. But this was just kind of hanging on. It never got ugly, didn't turn green. It's just like a little slit. And what made me become more aware of it was I was drinking water about maybe 8 days afterwards, and it started burning. I said, you know what, let me go to ENT. So I go there, and I'm in Atlanta now, and I go to Emory Hospital, and I go there, and the doctor comes in, he looks at it, and the other doctor comes in, and they look at it on the side, on this side of my tongue, and he goes back out, and then she comes back in with a tray with a knife, some knives and the thing, and I go, well, what are you gonna do with that?
Right.
She goes, oh, you have cancer. That's tongue cancer. We have to do a biopsy. I said, so what is the biopsy? Oh, we have to cut a piece of it. I said, wait a minute. So long story short, I ended up leaving, came out here to LA, went to the City of Hope, and everything got taken care of. I found out that it wasn't as bad, but they ended up having to take out probably a fingernail of my tongue. And on this side here, you can't see it, I got a scar, 57 lymph nodes they took out.
Wow.
And then I ended up having to do radiation, and that was the worst. But everything, but long story short, everything's good, and now it's just about preventive. I've been through the whole thing, and now I go to City of Hope probably once every 6 months, and I go to Dr. Magami out there, and she does my checkup. But I'm good.
Make sure
But
you're good.
and I tell everybody now, man, that is when something's wrong with you, you feel something, you don't feel right, go to the doctor. You know, so.
We both coach in Big Three. Obviously, I'm the only back-to-back champion as a coach.
What?
But,
Say that again?
I'm the only back-to-back coach as a champion. You know, I throw it out there, but nah.
And Jack, that's why I hate your ass. Because you know what? The thing with you is that you don't have great talent. You got players that play fucking hard,
They
man,
grind.
and play together.
I want dogs.
That's it. And yeah,
We might not win every year, but we're gonna compete.
Yeah.
How was that experience? Actually coaching in the Big Three and also working with Cube.
Oh, I love that, man. I mean, Cube, when I first even thought about that, I saw Clyde. I was going to the airport, walking through the airport in Atlanta, coming to LA, and I saw Clyde. And Clyde was like, Coop. I said, Clyde, what are you doing? Oh, I'm the commissioner of the Big Three. And I said, well, what's going on? He said, Coop, they got some more teams that they're getting ready. This was early. And he said, think about it. So I remember getting back home about a week later, and Cube called me. And I love Cube, man. I've always been a big fan of his, listen to his music. But to see that he was bringing something that was very, very unique to basketball, because if what Cube has started, it goes back to the playground.
Yeah.
And usually you ain't got 5 people. You got 3 of your boys, 2 of your boys. And you go to another neighborhood, hey, let's go 3-on-3. Yep. And to have that concept become a reality, I thought was so unique. So now he's putting it into play with all these players. So being part of the Big Three has been a big change in my life, because it lets me look at basketball a little bit more different. Because we're always looking at it either 1-on-1 or 5-on-5.
Yeah.
Well, 3-on-3 gives you a different perspective of it.
Purest way.
And what I like about it, it's not a lot of coaching.
Yeah.
And Jack, that's why I hate you, because you're a good recruiter, and you always go find.
And I'll be sitting down
them diving in the rough somewhere. Well, I've just kind of like get the biggest guys, and it's not about that. It ain't about height in the Big Three. I mean, it helps a little bit, but you got to have them people that can play together as a team and work. And I always congratulate you, a trilogy, right?
Yep.
Your insignia is nice. You got the 3 eyes and the 3 hair. Yeah, and I got Three's Company.
Y'all made it to the championship this year, though.
Well, we did, but it was, well, anyway, another story. But the Big Three has been a blessing in disguise, and I'm just glad to be part of it.
Me too.
And I thought this year that they should have had the Olympics, and some things would have went about. You know what? The Big Three that we've sent over there should have been from the Big Three.
Exactly.
So,
And 3-on-3 is more played around the world than 5-on-5, 1-on-1, anything.
So Cube got a great product, and I think he's expanding it. I like the little additions he's got thrown in there, bring the fire, and things like that. That gives you that old 1-on-1 nasty play. Okay, bring the fire. I didn't fire you. Okay, here's the ball, motherfucker. Let's go. 1-on-1, me and you.
Yeah,
and I love that aspect. I just wish we could get more of them too. Right. So it'll be good.
Shout out Q for sure. Well, Coop, we appreciate you. We know you're on a clock, so we got quick hitters. We're going to get you out of here. So first thing to come to mind, let us know.
5 best perimeter defenders of all time.
Michael Cooper.
Of course.
Nate McMillan. Dikembe Mutombo.
Rest in peace, D.
Alvin Roberts.
Alvin Roberts.
And I'm going to throw Michael Jordan in there.
Yeah, nice.
Throw him in there.
Solid 5.
We've got people in this building that have been petitioning to get LeBron James a Laker statue. Will LeBron have a Laker statue when it's all said and done?
I think it will. Yeah,
I think so.
mean, he's a all-time lead scorer. And LeBron is doing some things that I don't think anybody – I think he's going to play till he's 41. But he's doing things, man, that, a lot of kids don't do 22, 23 in the league. And I do think he needs one. He's already broke the only player to play with his son. And how many of us would love to have done that,
Awesome.
played one time? His son doesn't play a lot, but just to get out there on the court with him and play up and down. But, LeBron will get a statue.
Bron knows that these motherfuckers he playing against soft, too.
Say that again?
Bron came into the league was a little rougher. He know that the game now is super soft, so he can cruise through a lot of shit, bro. I'm telling you, because he played in both eras. So he know how soft this game is now.
Me and Ray were watching, what year was that, Ray? Me and Ray were watching some throwback shit, 11?
Bro, I slammed LeBron. I got footage of it. I slammed him. He tried. His first year in the league, I grabbed him and slammed him, bro.
I don't want to hear none of that nigga.
Ain't nobody doing that to him now.
Trained. Like he was just floating out there, strong floating.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Well, he played bully ball now. I mean, he straight out just bullies them.
Yeah,
man.
he's supposed
if you
to.
get it away with it,
That's what he's supposed to
do. But let me ask you guys this. Do you think he could have played in our era?
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
We ain't seen nobody 6'8", 270, like with a 40-inch vertical. We ain't never seen that no time.
Well, the closest one would be Karl Malone, but he didn't have that vert like he had.
He wasn't fly. No, I ain't putting Karl Malone.
Jack, I ran that motherfucker.
Scoring wise.
I ran at that motherfucker a couple of times, and that shit still hurt me when I think about
now,
it.
He was strong, and he could score. That's it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's what LeBron
He ain't got no chips, no
nothing.
nothing.
The mailman, that motherfucker was delivering a lot of times.
Yeah.
Rain, sleet, and snow.
There was no snow days. He was getting it in.
But those are some good ones.
Yeah.
Childhood crush. You got childhood crush? Who was your childhood crush?
She passed away.
Who was she?
Yeah, her name was Meta.
Meta.
And
she was somebody from your neighborhood or
from my neighborhood.
Okay, yeah, Meta.
She was that one.
Yeah, she was that one. Look at his face.
She was that one.
She was that one.
You ever get to take her to lunch and dinner? You ever take her on the date?
You know when boys start smiling and talking about like, yeah, she was that one.
I took her to my prom.
Oh, really?
To prom, yeah.
Okay.
And she wouldn't give it up. But
but she was. And that's always the one that one that didn't give it up, man.
Hey, that shit sounded so old school, and she wouldn't give it up.
But I was like that sad little puppy. Used to follow around the campus and stuff in the neighborhood. I go by her house and walk by her house and stuff. But
whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Rest in peace. One album that you could play with no skips.
Kind of Blue, Miles Davis.
Miles Davis.
Man, that shit all blue, kind of blue. And Freddie Freeloader.
Freddie Freeloader.
Don't skip. I got a brand new copy now.
Freddie Freeloader. I got to check that out. Freddie Freeloader. One guest that you would like to see on All the Smoke. But you have to help us get your answer on the show.
Somebody you think would be good on this show that would talk shit with us like you did.
Kareem.
Hey, Kareem said he would do it. We just have to go to Orange County.
I'll go wherever. I want to pray with him one time.
Kareem will smoke with y'all, too.
I want to pray with him. I'm Muslim, so I want to pray with him. I just want to say I prayed with him one time.
He said Kareem will smoke with us, too.
I hope y'all get him on.
Yeah, appreciate that.
You help us with that?
Person,
Yeah, appreciate that.
And I'm cool, huh? I pray and smoke with him? That'd be crazy. But Coop, we can rely on Coop. See, I see Coop, and Coop is a solid dude. There's a lot of people that come on here and say stuff, and we never see him again, but we can rely on Coop, y'all.
Nah, I've been fucking with Coop for a long time.
He
Coop
would love it too, man.
Yeah.
Coop came and talked to us at UCLA when me and Ray were freshmen.
But y'all got to be on another level with him.
Yeah.
Kareem bring it hard, man.
I'm with that.
I don't want no down
I'm with that. I want to learn. I want to learn something.
And he likes things from the past. Like,
Okay, history.
Well, even doing the George Floyd stuff, I want to talk to him about that type of stuff, what he thought about all that. I would love to talk to Kareem.
Well, Coop, man, we appreciate you. Obviously, love and respect what you meant. I mean, I grew up a Laker fan and getting a chance to know you early when I was in college and throughout, like Jack said, you've always been a solid stand-up. We appreciate you, man.
My brother.
Thank you for your time today. Again, congratulations on the Hall of Fame nod.
sir.
Long overdue. Respect.
and I would shake Jack's hand, but we start some unfinished business. He and I know we still got to go at each other. So I'm going to keep it cordial there, Jack. If I can bring my team back, we're going to get y'all.
If I'm a part of the league.
Basically, he said, fuck Jack. But, man, that's a wrap. Michael Cooper, you can catch us on the DraftKings Network and the All the Smoke Productions YouTube. We'll see y'all next week.
You.